here to talk about 10 fashion mistakes that could get you potentially flagged by TSA in 2025. Lots of things going on in the world right now with tensions, and the TSA don't seem like they're in much of a good mood these days. So I'm going to give you a few tips that'll potentially keep you off of their radar. The first one is the obvious. Don't wear too many metal accessories or too much bling on your clothing. Any buttons that are belt buckles, clips, too many metal pieces of jewelry or even hair clips in your hair can set off the alarm as you're walking through the TSA scanner. And if you have too much of that on, they may potentially pull you to the side and have you remove each item one by one until you can go through the scanner. That just delays your trip, and it makes you grouchy and it makes the TSA grouchy. So try to keep all of the metal, and that includes underwires in your bra, anything metal on your accessories. If you do have a device like, I don't know, a pacemaker or anything like that, cochlear implants, you should carry a card with you stating you have a medical device that will allow the TSA to pass you through the device safely. The second thing you want to avoid is any kind of complicated shoes or lace-up boots that can delay your time. We all know, unless you have an easy pass or a global entry pass, you are going to have to take your shoes off. And the more complex your shoes are, thick lace-ups, anything with metal togs on it, even steel-toed shoes, they're all complicated and take a few minutes to take off and put back on. That's going to delay you, it's going to delay the passengers behind you and make everyone unhappy, including the TSA. That just kind of puts you on their radar, so it's best to avoid that and wear easy slip-on moccasins or little slip-on shoes that will slip on and off easily. The third thing is wearing too many layers. Bulky coats, bulky sweaters, heavy scarves wrapped around your neck. Not only is that more stuff you're going to have to take off, but it potentially makes it harder for them to scan you as you go through. It makes it harder for them to see underneath what's in your clothing. And they may pull you aside and have you remove each piece easily, or one at a time. So it's easier to wear lightweight layers that are easy to take on and off and are not heavily complicated or bulky. The fourth thing is sporty clothing or anything with offensive graphics on it. The TSA is not really known for their sense of humor. They usually don't take too kindly to goofy jokes or anything that could be seen as offensive. And while there's no real dress code for flying, nobody's going to say you can or can't wear this. Anything that could potentially offend, upset, or delay, they're going to make you either cover it up or they're going to deny you boarding the plane. And you don't want that. So anything that could be read as politically or, militarily or, gender offensive, anything that's graphic, that's got curse words on it, or graphics that could be read wrong, or anything that's too political might get you flagged. I'm not saying they're going to ask you to remove it, but it could potentially delay you. The other thing is stuffing pockets too full with too much junk. You have to go through the scanner. Most devices, most electronics, anything metal has to be put in trays. So if you're toting that stuff in your pockets and you get to the checkpoint where they're going to ask you to remove each of those items, it's kind of like the complicated shoes. You're going to have to take each of those items out. The TSA will not be amused by that. Neither will the passengers behind you in line. And you could potentially lose an item doing that. So it's best to carry a small crossbody bag, a fanny pack, keep that on your carry-on, and take it out on the airplane as you need it. But it's not necessary to stuff that stuff in your pockets and have to remove each of those items one by one. And again, it could get you flagged and pulled to the side for a pat down or an individual search. So you want to avoid that stuff. The sixth one is dressing in military or law enforcement gear that could make you look like you're impersonating a soldier or an officer. Now, I don't know about law enforcement. My father's a police officer. I've never heard him talk about this, but my son is a soldier. He's retired military, and I've heard him talk about how upsetting that is when they see somebody wearing gear and they can tell from the way you're wearing it that you are not a soldier or a military personnel. The TSA frowns on that too. Anything that could potentially make people uneasy or make it look like you could be hiding a weapon or carrying a weapon is definitely going to get you flagged. And I know a lot of people wear that stuff out of patriotism, but I think there's other ways to display your patriotism other than trying to impersonate a military personnel or a police officer. So keep that stuff for your personal life and don't wear it on the flight. Clothing that's too revealing. I know people get hot on airplanes and you want to try to be as comfortable as you can. Again, it goes back to wearing layers that you can remove, but anything that's too revealing, shows too much skin, can make the TSA uncomfortable and it can make other passengers uncomfortable. And again, there's no specific dress code, but anything that's just flat out offensive may get you flagged. You may be asked to not board the plane if someone views that as offensive and complains. And really, honestly, you just want to avoid anything that's going to cause contention on a flight. We're all trying to get somewhere. We're all trying to do it in peace, and doing things like that can flag you and delay your flight. You don't want to wear heavy clothing that can make you sweat for the obvious reason that, one, the TSA might think it's inappropriate and think you're trying to hide something and pull you to the side and make you take all of those items off. If you look like you're dressed too hot for the situation, they might think you're trying to hide something. And again, you're going to be in closed quarters on a plane and you don't want to sweat too hard and be bodily offensive to your fellow passengers. That's not a good situation. So again, wear lightweight, thin layers that you can peel off as needed, that don't look too bulky, don't look like you're hiding anything, and aren't going to cause you to sweat on the flight. Too much visible tech gear can also get you flagged. And again, it's just more stuff you have to remove. Smartwatches, headphones, little Bluetooth items that you carry in your pockets, those sort of things are all delaying time. You have to take all that stuff off. It's best to carry a crossbody bag or some sort of fanny pack that you can keep that stuff in, and then you can put it on in the flight. But carrying it through the checkpoint and through TSA is just going to get you flagged, and it's pretty frowned upon. And that kind of brings us to our last point. And this one should just go anywhere in all of society. Too much perfume, too much lotion. Anything that's going to trigger allergies or just be seen as offensive to the olfactory nerves of most passengers should just be frowned upon. You can wear light perfumes, light mists. Anything that's on too heavy can flag you with the TSA. They're going to figure, why are they wearing this much perfume? What are you trying to hide? I mean, those sort of things can be used to hide other smells. And again, they're just flat out offensive to other passengers. So try to avoid those 10 things if you can when traveling, and make for a nice, peaceful, and easy flight for you and everyone else involved. Thank you.